Hey guys, so welcome back to another video. So today we are continuing the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and we are starting with chapter 12, which is the last chapter. Chapter 12, The Adventure of the Copper Beeches. So yeah, this is part 1 of chapter 12. So yeah, let's start. Sherlock Holmes was reading the Daily Telegraph. One morning he glanced at the advertisement sheet and, putting it aside, looked at me. A person should love art for its own sake. Only then can true pleasure be derived. The way you record all my cases leave a lot to be desired, he said. I felt a little offended at his rebuke and said, I think I've done full justice in this matter. It was a cold morning in spring, and we were sitting near a cheery fire. Sherlock quietly tossed a crumpled piece of paper to me and asked me to read it. Dear Mr. Holmes, I want to consult you regarding an appointment as a governess. I want to meet you, and I shall come at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. Yours faithfully, Violet Hunter. I read the note, which had come from Montague Place. Do you know her? I asked Sherlock. Not at all, came the reply. Just then we heard a doorbell and we waited for Violet Hunter to enter the room. The young lady who entered was simply yet neatly dressed. She had a brisk manner of a woman who had to make her own way in the world. She began, I am in a dilemma, and since I have no one whom I can turn, I am troubling you. I want your advice, please. Sherlock offered her a seat and promised to help her if he could. The young lady started telling her story. I've been working as a governess for the family of Colonel Spence Monroe for the past 5 years. But Colonel was transferred and he left with his family. I was left without a job, so I started looking for one. All my savings were used up, and so I went to an agency to see if they had anything for me. I was taken to the inner office where I met a man, Mr. Rucastle. As soon as he saw me, he offered me the job as a governess. So, what is worrying you, Miss Violet? Asked Sherlock. The unusual offer. The man looked very kind and jovial. He offered me £100 per year for taking care of his only son. He could easily get anyone for half the salary. She went on pause. He praised me for my accomplishments and was over enthusiastic that I accepted his job. I was broke and needed the job. Seeing that I was going to accept his offer, he gave me half my salary in advance. I asked him about his home and family. He told me he would have to take care of his child whose amusement is killing cockroaches. I was startled by this. He then told me that I would have to obey the commands of his wife. She would want me to wear a particular kind of dress, sit in a particular way, and cut my hair too. Mr. Holmes, I am particularly fond of my hair, and cutting them would be out of the question. I told the man that I would not cut my hair. He tried to convince me, but when I refused, he let it go. And turning to the manageress of the agency, requested to see more young ladies. What did you do then, Miss Violet? asked Sherlock. Miss Violet continued, I came back to my lodgings Now I regretted refusing the offer, as I had little money left with me. What is the use of my long hair when I am in such a destitute condition? I asked myself. Next day I decided to go to the agency and see if the position was still open. That is when I received a letter from the gentleman. She took out the letter and showed us. She started reading the letter to us. The letter said that the position was still open and they were willing to give her extra money too. The gentleman said that since his wife had taken a fancy to Miss Violet, he was insisted that she take up the position. He further added he will wait for her at Winchester. After reading the letter, Miss Violet looked at us and said, I have decided to take up the position, but I would be happy if you could advise me on this. If you decided, then there ends the matter. But I would not like to see a sister of mine taking up such a position, replied Sherlock. I have met Rucastle. He seems a good man, I think. Maybe his wife is a lunatic. He does not want to put her away in asylum, and so humors her fancies in every way, said Miss Violet. Sherlock tried to talk her out of it, but she wanted to accept the offer as it offered a good salary. It was decided that she would go to Winchester, and if she finds herself in danger of any kind, she would summon us. Not many days had passed when we received a telegram from Miss Violet. She asked to be at the Black Swan Hotel at Winchester. The following day at midday, the next day saw us on our way to Winchester. It was an ideal spring day and I was enjoying the scenery. Sherlock, on the other hand, was preoccupied with the case. I thought Lady had called us. We were sure that she had her freedom and not any grave danger. We knew that if she could come to meet us, she was safe and not threatened in any way. She reached Black Swan Inn. We found Miss Violet waiting for us. She had also made the arrangements for our lunch. She thanked us for coming and told us all that had happened in the past few days. She also said that she must be back by 3 p.m. Before I tell you everything, let me tell you that I was not ill-treated by any way by Mr. and Mrs. Rucastle. But I cannot understand their behavior. Mr. Rucastle is very kind to me, and Mistress Rucastle is not a lunatic. She is a silent woman, though. They have been married for 7 years, and Rucastle has a daughter from his first marriage. The daughter does not stay with them as she has an aversion to her stepmother. So yeah, that's it for this part of chapter 12, The Adventure of the Copper Beeches, from The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes. So that's it for this video. See you in the next video. Hope you like the video. Bye.